The Jacksonville Symphony unspools a mix of holiday classics and beloved classical compositions in a whirlwind of upcoming performances. Here to talk about it is Courtney Lewis, music director at the Jacksonville Symphony. Good morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Anne. How are you?
I am wonderful. We are also joined on the line, actually via video, by Avery Amereau. She's a soloist performing Ravel's Shéhérazade.
Correct.
Thank you for being here, Avery. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hi, Avery.
Hi, nice to see you.
You too. Can't wait to see you very soon.
It will be soon. So, Avery, you actually made your professional role debut with the Jacksonville Symphony Orchestra in the role of Carmen. And so this will be a bit of a homecoming for you. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward. It was a really good experience doing Carmen, so I'm happy to do some more French music with you guys.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about this performance. It is songs, music based on sort of the Arabian Nights, the 1001 Nights. And so you embody a series of characters, a variety of sounds. How do you approach all of the different elements of this performance?
Yeah, so it's the first song is very much about, the Arabian Nights story. Kind of, it's very word painting. It's not really so much like a story as much as it's like kind of like fantasy and word playing. And all the songs, they're all different. And there's 3 songs in each piece, and they're all dealing with escapism in some way. And it's kind of like a diminuendo from like a big fantasy, like in the first Asie, which is talking about all the different places of Asia and like really being very descriptive about like what they could be, but not the truth of what it is necessarily, but the fantasy of it. And then the second one is like talking about another fantasy, but that's still a bit more real. And the third one is a fantasy that's almost completely interior. So it's very interesting to kind of do this kind of decrescendo down, which feels very French too. This kind of like anticlimactic subtlety of like what it means to like explore escapism.
So, Courtney, this is a busy time for you. You are just coming back into town. You have got a series of performances, even overlapping performances coming up. So you have the Messiah in the Jacoby Hall. You've got the First Coast Nutcracker in the Moran Theater. And I guess the orchestra is kind of divided on these?
Yeah, we split the orchestra in 2 this week. So I'm doing Messiah in Jacoby Symphony Hall, and right across the road, across the hallway in the Moran Theater, the other half of the orchestra is playing Nutcracker with our assistant conductor, Nazir McFadden. So it's a really busy time of year. And then the program that Avery is talking about is the following week, December 19th and 20th, when we go back to some French classical music after our holiday whirlwind. And
there's also holiday music mixed in the performance that Avery is a part of. This is sort of, you're going to be playing elements of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker.
That's right. So the program on 19th and 20th is a French program all about different pictorial music. So it starts off with The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which your listeners might know from Fantasia, the Disney movie. It's the scene when Mickey Mouse tries to control a mop and all the buckets of water fly over everywhere. So that music. Then Debussy, L'après-midi d'un faune, Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, and La Mer, his big tone poem about the sea. Some little bits of Nutcracker that you might not hear in the concert hall usually. And then the Ravel Shéhérazade, which Avery is singing. So that's December 19th and 20th, but this coming week is Messiah and Nutcracker.
What do you look forward to with Messiah? This is obviously the kind of famed Hallelujah chorus. It is, a familiar sound to people. It is so deeply associated with the holiday season. And people really look forward to it. Do you as well?
I do, and I took a year off last year. Didn't conduct it here last year, and I really missed it. For me, the moment that really says Christmas is one of the soprano recitatives when she sings, "And there were shepherds abiding in the fields, feeding their flocks at night, and the angel of the Lord came upon them." And the whole heavens open up with a chorus of angels and trumpets off stage. And that means Christmas has arrived for me. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. Tonight, we start this evening. So busy week.
Oh, my goodness. And so what is it like to split the orchestra? How does that actually work to divide? How do you choose who's on? Do they get to pick? Do they get to choose which one they want to be?
No, I usually pick, to be honest.
Okay.
So Messiah is written for a smaller orchestra because it was written in the 1700s. So orchestras weren't as big. So we have about 35 musicians playing that. And then for the Nutcracker, the other half, we use an orchestration that requires fewer instruments than usual. So we can literally divide our 70 musicians in two.
Avery, you're a contralto. You have a range of, I guess, a broad range, I should say, but I'll let you tell me more about that. Do you have a preferred style of music? When we talked about role playing, but you also do a lot of concert stuff. You have performed professionally at the Metropolitan Opera. You've performed, music with the Boston Symphony. What is your preferred style? What is your preferred stage?
I like to have a variety. I think what's really nice about my job is that I can control my schedule. So I like to have a mix of some opera where I can get really into a character and do acting, which is a big part of my job that I really love. And then it's nice also to kind of have these concerts, which are usually a bit quicker and a bit more intimate because there's less going on and more just immediacy with the audience. And what's really nice about this performance of Shéhérazade is that I get to have that immediacy with also in a song cycle, not something like Messiah, which I've done many times and is a great, great piece. That's a bit more that's a bit more kind of regimented, where this has more room for interpretation, something like Shéhérazade. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. So I don't have a preferred stage. I have preferred pieces, I guess. I like to do the music I like to do. And in regards to my voice type, I think it's just when we talk about contralto versus mezzo versus soprano, we're talking about where the color blooms the most. So for a soprano would bloom on the top, and a mezzo, which means middle in Italian, in the middle, and contralto alto is on the lower. And I think for me, it's definitely blooming a lot in the lower, but the range should be equal for most of these voice types. Yeah.
You mentioned French, singing in French. How difficult, how different is it to be performing in different languages?
It depends on the language. So I think something like French, something like Italian is easier because it has like very smooth and connected the way the vowels are, and it lends itself well to singing. English is also easy for me because it's native. Whereas things like German, Russian, Czech, I've sung in, these things are a bit harder. But I have to say, I'm preparing at the same time now a role, Didon in Les Troyens. And I've been doing lots of French music, and I'm really finding it to be my favorite, I think. Even though I do like Italian and English, and I do a lot of Baroque repertoire with these languages. But this kind of French music that I've been going into is, I think, where my future lies.
Well, Avery Amereau, thank you for joining us. Courtney Lewis, the events kick off. It's December 12th, 13th, 14th, and then the following weekend, the 19th and 20th for the Nutcracker and Sorcerer's Apprentice. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.